All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Frontier Michigan. Out here today, it's about 80 something degrees, mostly cloudy skies, as we do have storms in the area, though most of it is past, so it's just a lot of convective activity now in the skies. If you take a look at all that, it's pretty large clouds and storms that have passed, and I see in the radar there's not really much on the way, so pretty much clear as far as the weather. So we're back out at the spot, and what are we talking about today? We're going to be talking about sway bars, what they do, and whether or not you should disconnect them or leave them in place. And ultimately, for those that don't really want to watch the video, because I know there's some of you guys out there that start the video and click off after a few minutes, which, hey, you can do that. I know I can be boring and I'm not very entertaining sometimes, but it is what it is. But for those of you that stick around and watch all the way through, I appreciate you. You help the channel, you help it grow, and it helps with the watch time and everything. Which, if you don't know, for YouTube, 4,000 hours of public watch hours is one of the thresholds that has to be met to get monetization. We're close now. We're at like 3,800 public watch hours now. So the longer everybody watches, the more we can push the channel into monetization and start earning money. And that money could be used to help upgrade the truck. It could be used for planning adventures, going out and hitting some trails. That stuff's not cheap. And I don't quite frankly make a lot of money. It is what it is. But anyway, sway bars, let's get into it. So, what we have here is the rear sway bar off of my truck. As you can see, it's got your end link here, end link here, the bar itself, your mounting brackets, bushings here and there, and on the frame itself are the mounting plates for the end links to bolt to. Now, the question: keep the sway bar or just leave it removed? Should you do it? When should you do it? And what are the pros and cons? Sway bars, their main job is to reduce body roll, thus making the vehicle more stable for when you're cornering, towing, or if you have to make a emergency maneuver, say an animal or whatever runs out in front of you. I know you're really not supposed to dodge the animals per driver's handbooks, depending on what your state says, but some people panic and try to avoid animals, or you know, you gotta avoid idiots on the road, or try to avoid an accident. There's plenty of reasons why somebody would need to make a quick, hard maneuver. But sway bars, their main job is to improve vehicle stability across the board. And that's what kind of gives you that tight on rails feel. Large part of that comes from your sway bar, by reducing your overall body roll. Now, what are some downsides to sway bars? Well, in the case of a vehicle that's supposed to be marketed as an off-road trim, they reduce your overall articulation and wheel travel. And let's say for everything else that's not off-road oriented, sway bars can make the ride quality a little more harsh. When each wheel from left or right side can't articulate independently of each other, let's say you hit a bump on that side, You're going to feel a little bit of that through the left side in the suspension, because you have this sway bar interacting with left and right side. Now, sway bars themselves, they act as a spring, but instead of working up and down like your normal shocks and springs do, sway bars act as a spring in the left and right direction. So they control your body roll by acting as a spring. So if the wheel on this side goes up and the wheel on this side goes down, this bar actually twists, kind of like a torsion bar on, like, you know, older pickup trucks from like the 90s and 2000s and stuff. Think like your GMT 800, Silverado, and Sierras. Torsion bar suspension. When you hit a bump on one side, this twists. It's literally a torsion bar that ties your left and right sides of the vehicle together. So that's pretty much the explanation of the sway bar and their job. And I'll show you down underneath the truck here where it mounted up. Give me a second. So we're under the truck now, and you got your mounting pad here, and there's one right there. That's where the 4 bolts on Nissan sway bar is. And then up here, I don't know if you can see that. I'll try to reposition you guys a little bit. Ain't gonna work. But anyway, right here where I'm touching is the mounting plate for the sway bar. There's one on either side of the truck. That's what's tying the left and right sides together, so you have that sway bar action going on. Now, I deleted the rear one for a couple of reasons. One of which, it made the rear end of the truck a little less harsh. And I'm not saying the Frontier rides bad, because honestly it rides great for a pickup truck. But taking this out, it's made the rear end of the truck a little less harsh when the roads become uneven, or if I got to go over bumps. And I also get the added benefit of additional wheel travel. As I can tell you for a fact, these things, there's virtually no wheel travel in them. I had to jack up the truck to put my spare on a few months ago, well, not a few months, back in December. I can tell you, it's only like 5 inches of up and down travel in the rear end before you start picking the tire up. It's not a lot. And I know taking the sway bar out has effectively doubled that. So my main limitation now on the rear end is the shocks themselves, possibly the leafs. I'm going to be deleting the front sway bar when I lift the truck. But for now, for the sake of having decent on-road handling, I'm leaving the front one in. There's no point in taking it out right now. But when I do the suspension, oh absolutely, it's coming out. So that's the explanation of the sway bar, what they do. Now let's go find a spot where I can flex the truck out and I can show you how much travel there is in the rear. You might be surprised, might not be surprised. For those with lifted Frontiers, you guys probably aren't surprised. But for everybody else that doesn't have one, or you guys' truck is stock, you get to see how much wheel travel is actually in the rear. But I gotta get it really flexed up. So let's go find a spot. It's gonna take me a few minutes, but for you guys, it'll only be a sec. Alright, so what you're seeing here is about what the wheel travel is. give or take maybe an inch or so of what the truck is normally stock. Now I know it can stuff a little bit more, but this bump really ain't big enough. So I'm gonna try to find a spot where I can flex it out, but this is about the flex that it had stock with the bar in place. If there's a lot of wind, I do apologize. Like I said, we got a storm system moving through, so it is what it is. We're just having to deal. So now that you kind of see that, you know, my hand is about 5.5 inches tall, and I'm touching tire to fender right there. So that's, with my thumb extended, it's probably about 6.5 inches. Not a lot. That's about close, if not spot on, with stock with sway bar. So let's go find a spot where I can flex it, or try to flex it more, and I'll show you. Right, so I repositioned the truck. Wheels a little bit more stuffed. I know I could probably stuff it a little bit more, but it is what it is. This is the point of which, well, it's not much more, but the back tire was unloading, and as you can see, I'm not able to touch that tire, but we can do better. So let's go find another spot. All right, everybody, I know I said I was trying to find another spot where I could flex a little bit more, but that's not gonna work. But I did find this loose hill here that I might be able to do a little bit of testing with. So it's uphill, it's loose, it's rocky. I'll let you guys know how steep this hill actually is. Go from there. All right, so this little hill that we could test on, we're at 16 degrees. So that's a decent little slope here. So let's have some fun. All right, so we're gonna try this in two-wheel drive. I already know we're not gonna get anywhere, but let's see how far we can get up this loose, rocky-ish hill on the stock Hankook Dyna Pro AT2s that have 16,500 miles on them. Not expecting miracles here, but as you can see, we didn't go very far. So let's put her in full high and see what it does. think we may need to find something harder. I didn't even need to go to low or low lock. That was 4 high, we walked right up. Then this beginning part gets up there like 15, 16 degrees, and it levels out about a third of the way up. So, I don't know. Not much around here. I might have to go downstate and hit one of the off-road parks. We'll see. But anyway, unfortunately, I can't really find a spot right now that isn't occupied by the public to really flex the truck out and show you. But for sure, we'll travel without the rear sway bar. At least in the rear anyway, is doubled. Like easily doubled or more. So I'm gonna get back, I'm gonna edit all this together. And this has been an episode of Frontier Michigan. I'll see you guys next time. Hey, alright you guys, bonus video. So my other spot anyway that I test at has opened up, and got the truck pretty flexed. As you can see, not even touching that at all. This is pretty well flexed out for stock setup without the rear sway bar. As you can see, that's stuffed. So anyway, like I said, this has been a Frontier Michigan video. Now that you've seen the truck flexed out without the sway bar, as I can certainly tell you, you ain't getting that with it in there. I'll see you next time.